there's just one thing that's been going through my mind, and as I continue to log and reflect upon my routine and critique my regimen, it's overcoming the wall. And what I mean by that is overcoming the limitations of what your body has. And I really think that everyone has a genetic, physical limit and also a mental mind limit. And what I mean by that is that I think everyone has a limit on the amount of exercise, the amount of physical exertion that can come out of a body. And I think that when you master the mind mental side of those limitations, you eventually meet up with the physical genetic limit that is placed upon you from the day you're born. And lately I've been feeling that maybe that limit is coming closer and closer. And that might be true because I've been doing this for about 10 years now, with maybe 6 years of consistency, so 4 years not as consistent. And even though I say that I'm approaching that limit, I still feel I'm far from it. I may be closer now to that limit than 10 years ago, and maybe that's why I feel that I'm approaching that limit, or you could say wall. I think it's good to kind of know where I stand with my past self. And obviously, when I first started, my mental limit, the mind games I play with myself, they weren't as strong as they were nowadays. I have through experience, I felt that it has hardened me to challenge myself, to find something and say, one day I will do that. One day that will be me. And instead of dreaming about it, I want to work my way to get to that point. And a good personal achievement that I've ever started was running. Running was my first experience at overcoming a wall. When I first started running, I never had any aspirations to run long distances. The only reason why I ran was to feel all the other sports that I participated in, to get my body acclimatized, adjusted to the amount of work that each type of sport provides. And I felt that running provided the most benefit all around to each type of activity. So I took it up, and little did I know that that sprouted a seed in me and catapulted me to do a marathon. And from the first marathon I did, I never knew what the wall was, overcoming the mental limitations of my body. It wasn't until that first marathon where I discovered this wall. And a lot of runners describe this wall as a mental barrier that shuts down your body. Everyone has a different limit, and a lot of other runners describe this wall as this point where your body is no longer cooperating with your mind, and you tend to shut down. And that happened to me when I ran my first marathon. It was at mile 20 where my body started to falter, and I didn't know if I would be able to complete my first marathon. I was able to pull through all the way up to mile 24, which is 2 miles short of the marathon. And at that point, my mileage switched from a jogging perspective to just finishing. I ended up walking the last 2 miles, and ever since then, it has sparked a new light in me. It showed me where my mental limitations were, and in order to break through those limitations, I had to prepare better. I had to work on other aspects of my training to get better. So I trained more, and I ran more, learn about how my body reacts to certain speeds, learn how certain foods are fuel for the body. And that's when I got my redemption in 2019, 3 years later, after my first marathon. I prepared a lot better, and I was happier with the results, and even finished 20 minutes faster than my first. And I think that's where I am right now with my weight training. I know that I can lift heavier, and I know that I can push beyond that limit, but right now I feel like I'm approaching it. I still want to lift heavier, but I don't want the form to falter. So if the form is never there, I can never go up. That's it for this week, and I'll catch you in the next one.